Think of the last time something in your life went quietly right. Not something you worked for or planned for, just something that was simply fine. A leaking faucet you meant to fix, and when you came home, it had stopped. A difficult problem at work that somehow resolved itself. A moment of trouble that passed before it became serious. Sometimes that is luck. But sometimes it is someone. Someone who saw what was breaking and fixed it before you noticed, without being asked, without being thanked, without needing you to know. This is a story about a man like that. His name was Elias, and most people in his village had never really noticed him. Welcome to the Silent Lesson. Every story holds a lesson that words alone cannot teach. Elias was a craftsman. He could fix almost anything. Wood, stone, iron, glass. If it was broken, Elias knew how to bring it back. But unlike most craftsmen, he did not wait for people to come to him. Every morning before sunrise, he walked through the village, slowly, quietly, with attention. Most people were still sleeping. Elias was looking. He looked at the widow's gate, which had been leaning for 3 weeks. He looked at the schoolhouse step, which had begun to crack, not broken yet, but becoming broken. He looked at the well cover, which had a small split that let in rainwater. None of these were emergencies. None would cause serious harm right now. But Elias understood something most people do not think about until it is too late. Small things, left alone, become large things, and large things are much harder to restore than small ones. So he fixed the small things, every day, before anyone asked. He charged very little, sometimes nothing at all. And he kept no records. Or so everyone believed. The village was not unkind. They simply did not notice. This is not a story about bad people. The people of this village were ordinary, busy, tired, decent enough when they remembered to be. They had their own problems, their own worries, their own lives to tend. When the gate no longer leaned, they thought the wood had settled on its own. When the schoolhouse step held firm through winter, they assumed the original builders had done good work. When the well stayed clean, they drew their water and moved on. Elias was like a heartbeat, steady, invisible, essential. You do not notice your heartbeat unless something goes wrong. His neighbor, a woman named Rosa, had lived beside him for 30 years. She knew he rose early and came home late. She knew he smelled of sawdust and iron. She knew he had no children, no wife, no ambition she could name. "Elias," she said to him once, "what is it you are always doing out there?" He thought about it for a moment. "Keeping things," he said. She nodded, not fully understanding, and went back inside. What no one knew was this. Elias kept a notebook. Not for payment, not for proof, not for anyone else to read. He wrote things down the way. Some people say a quiet prayer before sleeping. Each entry was simple, a date, a name, a thing. March 4th, the Henderson's roof, southeast corner, loose tiles fixed. March 11th, the bridge at the market edge, 3 boards soft, replaced. April 2nd, Mrs. Osai's garden wall, 3 stones missing at the base, reset and mortared. By the time Elias was 60, the notebook had more than 300 pages. By the time he was 70, there were 4 notebooks. He did not organize them or label them. He stacked them on the shelf by his window next to a small lamp. The covers smelled faintly of sawdust. The edges of the pages had curled from rough hands turning them each night. And every night before the lamp went out, he added one more entry. On the morning of his death, Elias woke before dawn as he always had. He dressed slowly. The cold had been troubling his hands for 2 winters, the joints stiff, the grip no longer what it used to be. He walked his road. He noticed the school wall that would need paint before spring. He noticed the Nuyens chimney, a stone working loose near the top. He made a note. He stopped at the old oak tree at the edge of the village. There was a bench there. He had built it himself, years ago, for no reason except that it seemed like a good place to rest. He sat down. The sun came up slowly, pale and cold. He closed his eyes. He did not come home that evening. The village mourned him quietly, the way people mourn someone they assumed would simply always be there. A month after Elias died, the schoolhouse step cracked through. It took 2 weeks for anyone to fix it. In that time, a child fell. By spring, the well cover had warped and let in enough rain to affect the water. People argued about whose responsibility it was. The widow's gate, which Elias had rehung the previous summer, began to lean again. Things did not collapse, but things did not stay whole either. Rosa found the notebooks when she went to collect his belongings. There were not many things, but the notebooks, 4 of them, stacked by the window, she noticed those. She opened the first one. She sat down. She read for a very long time. The notebooks were passed around the village. People found their own names in entries they had never known existed. The woman who had always believed her barn was simply well built. The family whose orchard gate had never once failed in 40 years. The teacher whose classroom floor had been quietly re-leveled one summer while she was away. They read in silence. Some felt the weight of what they had not noticed. Some felt something softer, gratitude mixed with grief. Most felt something that did not have a clean name. It was Rosa who said it best, reading from the second notebook at the gathering they held in his name. He did not do this for us to know. He did not do it because we asked. He did it because it needed to be done, and that was enough for him. She paused. I wonder how many people like Elias are in the world right now, and I wonder how many of us are walking past them without seeing. The question is not whether anyone will remember our names. The world is held together by people like him, not heroes, not people who waited for the right moment or the right audience, just people who looked at what was breaking and decided, quietly, that they could be the ones to tend it. There are people in your life right now doing exactly that. The ones who show up before they are called, who notice without being asked to notice, who leave things better than they found them without leaving their name. They do not do it for recognition. They do it because walking past something broken and doing nothing is simply not who they are. Here is what Elias never asked himself: will they remember me? Because that was never the question. His question every morning before sunrise was simpler: is this worth doing? And the answer always was yes. If today this story helped you see someone quiet in your life, hold them close. And if you want to learn English through the silent corners of life, stay with the silent lesson. We tell stories that teach you English and quietly change the way you see yourself.